今天您将收看的是
有着丰富的电影制作经验，尤其在短片领域硕果累累。法国资深制片人马修·彭博安带来他对法国新电影的深刻见解。
大家好，观众朋友们，您现在看到的是今晚我们看电影。马修·彭博安是法国著名的电影制作人，他担任过超过30部电影短片的制作，他也是支持法国独立电影的中流砥柱。在今天的节目当中，我们将马修·彭博安请到了我们的节目，请他和我们一起来分享一下法国电影短片的经济机制，以及他自己所制作的那些优秀的影片。
马修·彭博安1997年毕业于巴黎高等商学院，进入电影行业工作，在后期制片指导、执行制片人和电影监制等领域累积了20多年的丰富经验，已获选进入法国独立制片人联盟。
Actually, I started being interested in movies really early, and I had to decide what kind of work I wanted to do. And I was living in a small town in France, Cognac, where you make the cognac. And there was a film festival there, so I watch every year many movies, but I also saw many people coming with the movies, the stars, the directors, but also the producers. And I said, wow, that's a quite interesting job, because you are here from the beginning of the story on a piece of paper, and you go until the festival. So really early, when I was, I think, 13 or 14, I said to myself that being a producer would be an interesting thing to do. So, as I didn't know anyone in the business industry, living in a small town far from Paris, I said that learning in a business school different subjects such as finance, marketing, but also logistic and all the questions of organizations, then I thought it could be good for me. Think about a film was the next step after learning how to make the film on a financial and on a logistic basis. The next step to me was to learn on a more artistic basis how to produce.
马修·彭博安作为制片人，至今已推出了近30部短片，其中大部分在国际影节影展获得奖项。他于2004年创立的制片公司，现今已是法国支持独立电影导演的中流砥柱。
Because short film first is a way to express in an interesting manner. I think it is a way to talk about subjects that would be too long in a feature film. Also, the second reason why I pay so much attention is that it's a way to educate yourself and to still continue to learn after school. We have the chance, particularly in France and in some countries of Europe, to have financing for short films. That's why, as a producer, it is a field where you can learn as well as technicians, actors, or directors, because people get paid to do their job. Of course, they are not paid millions, but you can start learning your job by making short films. And I start learning my job as a producer by producing short films. Short film has the chance to exist without any commercial pressure. So you can really decide the subject in a complete freedom, and you don't have to have a specific length. You don't have to talk about a specific subject in a certain way. You can really do what you want. Either it's a short film of fiction, animation, experimental, documentary. You just try to express the way the director wants to express. And this is a real chance.
rappeler?
Oui, mais il a une raison à ça. Réfléchis un peu.
Tu sais, c'est pas très légal, hein, les contrats que tu m'as fait pendant 3 ans.
I think that if they have the necessity to do this particular film on this specific subject, it's something that is personal, and so it might touch the audience. If you don't have the necessity to do it, then you don't have the good conditions to do it, you just keep to another project. And that's not the type of films I want to produce. I want to work with people that are living through cinema and that want to express things and ideas in a creative and innovative way.
马修·彭伯安2010年与主演《巴黎小情歌》《戏梦巴黎》的法国知名影星路易·加瑞尔合作，制作了由加瑞尔编剧、导演的40分钟短片《小裁缝》，讲述了一个年轻裁缝爱上了美丽的舞台剧女演员，想为她抛弃一切的伤感故事。短片以其不俗的口碑，成为马修·彭伯安名下的代表作之一。
When you're doing a short film, the casting is not very important. The name of the director is a little bit important, but you consider it from the point of view of a director, not because he's a famous actor. You are sure that he will be a great director. Louis Garrel had already shot one short film before this one that I produced called Mes Copains, My Buddies, and it was in Cannes in 2008. And when he decided to write this story, inspired by the father of a very close friend of him, I immediately liked the aspect of a fairy tale, you know, and the mix of realistic but also something very fantasized, and the black and white touch. And so we started to finance the film, and we ultimately, in the end of the year, got the support of the CNC. But then it was possible to shoot, and the film was in Cannes, and it was a wonderful success story for, and I think it helped Louis to become a known director and not only an actor.
Ladies always late, but she's still mourning for a golden age.
诗意的对白与优美的黑白摄影，小裁缝具有法国新浪潮电影的气息。而这部片子的女主角正是后来飞升国际，既演过《007女郎》，也拿过戛纳金棕榈大奖的法国女星雷雅·塞杜。
It's funny because she was starting her career in France. She was not known internationally, and she was just a friend of Louis because they knew each other for several years. So it was very natural for her to accept to work in this short film project. And it was very simple. We did it, we shot at night, we didn't have a lot of money, so we had to imagine things. People were coming with their own clothes. There was no makeup, and that's also why probably we turned into black and white, but maybe we should not say that.
N'importe si je regarde les hommes, tout comme si c'était mon amour, quand pourtant mon sang est demeuré froid et mon cœur ne bat pas plus vite. Pourquoi me dire cruel? Pourquoi se croire trahi? Je le veux, aimant ce qui fut, avant qu'il n'y ait le monde.
What is magic is that he's doing it without wanting to do it. I don't know how to explain, but he's been living in the cinema forever. Louis Garrel has always been in the cinema industry. His father and his mother are both directors. So he knows how to express with images, and he knows how to, he's an actor. And so it was, the way he was telling his story in Little Tailor, Petit Tailleur, was very natural. So yes, of course, I think it's a great homage.
上世纪影响深远的法国新浪潮电影运动，影评人转行为导演，颠覆业内的陈规，倡导个性化表达，提出至今在法国独立影坛都占主流的作者电影，即导演拍他自己创作的故事。但马修对此有着不同的思考。
It has been for many years a very, very good thing. A good thing, because people were able to write their own stories and to shoot in the streets and to imagine any stories they wanted, and not to be in a set with a big crew and a big makeup. And so it was very helpful for the new generations of directors. But now with the development of all these small cameras, and I realize also that people tend to go directly shooting instead of thinking to the story they want to tell. And more, and the French system to help short films encourages you to write your story and to be a good screenwriter. And I realized that being a good screenwriter doesn't mean you're a good director. And the opposite too. Maybe consider that it's not awful to have a screenwriter working on a screenplay and not direct the film. So I'm encouraging people I know that if they don't feel they don't have the possibility to write, it's not a problem. They can be only directors. But this is not in the habit for the moment, but I'm trying to go this way. So now we could say that we have to end, because also it will encourage new type of films and new genre if you allow screenwriters to work with directors.
接下来您将收看的是，
除了短片领域佳作频出，马修·彭伯安的公司还出品过7部剧情长片。2011年，他担当制作的《野兽天堂》入选柏林电影节全景单元，并获得2012年法国昂热电影节大众评审。除了短片领域佳作频出，马修·彭伯安的公司还出品过7部剧情长片。2011年，他担当制作的《野兽天堂》入选柏林电影节全景单元，并获得2012年法国昂热电影节大众评审奖。
The idea of this film was to do the portrait of a narcissistic pervert, meaning that you don't always realize that people unconsciously want to manipulate you and only they don't think about you, they think about them when they do that. And in this case, it was the story of a father who wanted the love of his 2 children without thinking of the consequences for them when they will be adults of what he did. So the film is a kind of a family thriller from the point of view of the little girl and her loyalty conflict, because she's in between the 2 parents. She wants to love them both, but one of the adults is not behaving well and properly. But as her daughter, she doesn't want to judge. That's her father. She wants to love him. But in the film, you are sometimes even a little bit afraid of what's going to happen to her even if you know that's her father and he's loving her. But it was a terrific, I really loved working with Estelle Larrivaz, the director. It took us like 5 years before having the good script and being able to have a little amount of money and to produce the film. And now I'm working on the second feature. But again, it took her 5 years to write the good script.
马修·彭伯安制作的影片《美好的生活》改编自真人真事，描述离婚后的父亲带着2个儿子东躲西藏的生活，获得了第70届威尼斯电影节威尼斯日单元大奖。
Again, what was interesting to me in this story, even if it's a true story, was the point of view of the person telling the story. Because he was making a link between this story that was in the news about a father that took his 2 sons away from the society during 10 years. He was living in the mountains and he was teaching them, he was educating. Jean Denisot, the director, was making a link between his personal story, not that his father took him away from the society, but he found a way to give his point of view about the story by inspiring himself from his own personal story. And we come back to the necessity that I mentioned before, and that was, to me, really interesting in the project.
2016年，由马修·彭伯安监制的《平静的生活》获洛迦诺电影节路易·德吕克奖等多项荣誉，以一个独特的视角探索了屠宰场的动物世界。
The production process was really interesting because the director herself didn't know that she was going to be allowed to shoot in the slaughterhouse. So she had imagined many things around it and other scenes outside. And little by little, when we were able to have the authorization to shoot in the slaughterhouse, then she reinvented the script. We never shot in the part of the execution of the animals and where the animals are cut, but only in the part where the animals arrive and wait on the way to their death. And she wanted to have the audience to share the feeling of these animals. And she used the human animal best friend, a dog, and a young boy that had a very strong relationship, to see how by working in a slaughterhouse, in this part of the slaughterhouse, his feeling as a human being was evolving regarding the animals that he was bringing to death. So it was the most radical film that I produced. So it's really not easy for the audience, but it's all the people who had the courage to see the film, I would say, were really moved and impressed by the quality of the image and the quality of the feelings and sensations and emotions that you feel after watching the film. It was awarded in Locarno, and it was shown in many festivals, which is for independent film, as I mentioned, for short films, another way of building your career and your recognition.
马修·彭伯安还是巴黎3大电影学科副教授，在法国国立高等电影学院等多个电影专业院校授课讲学，与年轻一代保持着紧密的联系。
I have the feeling to be in contact with the new generation and not get an old, grumpy producer. I can see in their eyes that cinema still has its magic. So that's what I like, and I'm here to encourage them, but to give them the keys of, in my field in production, to give them the keys maybe to gain some time and not to make the same mistakes, but they will have to imagine new ways of working, because technology is evolving, but also the way of watching films. You go in theater, of course, to watch films, but sometimes you watch films on your phone, you watch films in your bed, and it's these new ways, these new possibilities of watching films will change the type of films, the duration of film, everything will change. That's why probably the series have so much success, because they're a little shorter, because you can watch them more easily. I think there are films where you need to go and see them just to distract and take some time. That's the commercial film that are entertaining. And some of the independent films are more films that are made to change your look on the world around you and make you think differently and make you discover things that you would never imagine existed. And sometimes these two worlds, they are close. And in France, we have a lot of popular independent films.
电影艺术蓬勃发展的法国，短片电影的经济机制是否给大家带来一些启发呢？只有鼓励那些创新的萌芽，才能够产生出个性十足的艺术作品。好，感谢各位收看我们今天的节目，让我们下一次再见。
明天您将收看的是。
今天呢，我们非常高兴请到了这上海评弹团的团长高博文、艺术策划人洪亦飞来做客我们的节目，和我们一起来聊聊高博文说繁花，再聊聊这个评弹艺术。